Hi folks, today something completely different. Over the last few days, I've been tinkering with a little side project that started with a simple question. Can I build a plugin myself? I've seen some impressive things from other creative people who use increasingly clever AI tools to create surprisingly complex things on screen within seconds, sometimes with just a single, although rather detailed prompt. I have to admit, I used to work with several programming languages myself, but talking to an AI about building a synthesizer, dude, that would be something completely different. A rather weird, but also very interesting experiment. So I started thinking about what direction I should take. Obviously, it had to be something related to Tomita. Something, with a very typical sound. And for the first attempt, something simple. Almost minimalist. Well, just as many controls as necessary, but no bloated monster that looks impressive, while being full of bugs underneath. One of my favourite Tomita sounds are his typical Moog bells. They appear in many of his pieces, and the sound itself can be created on almost any synthesizer with relatively little effort. A few oscillators, an ADSR envelope, and that's basically it. I've seen the amazing graphics that Grok or Claude can create from a simple prompt, with really futuristic synthesizer interfaces and thousands of tiny glowing gizmos. Fascinating stuff, dude. But Tomita is vintage. The design had to feel like it came straight out of the 70s. I spent a few minutes trying to get Claude, Grok, and GPT to create something that matched the image of a simple retro synthesizer I had in my head. Well, that didn't really work, so I had to do it myself. With GIMP, the whole thing was actually finished within a few hours. The GUI became quite retro, a wooden frame, brushed aluminum for the front panel, some little lights inside the faders, and a bit of logo work. The code itself, well, that was a different story. Even with AI, it was much more involved. I had to install quite a lot of software, get back into Visual Studio, refresh my rusty coding skills, and learn how to communicate with an AI without creating misunderstandings all the time. I was surprised how flexible the whole process with Claude turned out to be. Sometimes, I honestly had the feeling that I was chatting with a friend, sitting at another computer somewhere. We got along pretty well, and after a few days, the basic structure of the synthesizer was finished. The functions and parameters were tested without the GUI first, and after several attempts, the synth produced the sound I wanted, and without crashes or unwanted noise. Another day of adjustment work followed, making the graphics and the engine work together as planned. And finally, my Tomita Bells synth was finished. So, let's see what Felsi and Claude are leaving behind for future generations. On the far left, you'll find the VCO1 fader. It creates the fundamental tone. VCO 2 to 5 are responsible for the harmonics. Their frequencies are fixed in the code, following Tomita's recipe. On the right side, you have the four controls of the ADSR generator. They shape the combined sound of the oscillators and give it a natural envelope. After all, it should sound like a bell. No attack, a medium decay, and a rather medium to short release. When you start the plugin, all faders are already set to the positions needed for the classic Tomita bells. Those settings are stored directly in the code. If you get lost and can't recreate the bells anymore, just reload the plugin. Basically, it was designed for one single sound. Now you can get creative. For example, add a generous amount of reverb. And actually, that's the whole trick. Want a little example? If you know Tomita, you probably recognize this short sequence. Exactly, Debussy's Arabesque No. 1. Let's add a little reverb. And now, have fun pushing those retro faders. See you!